All right, let's talk about what is, without a doubt, the world's most mysterious book. Seriously, this thing is a code, a puzzle, and a historical enigma that has left the smartest people on the planet completely scratching their heads for centuries.
We are about to dive into a genuine historical cold case, and it's all locked away inside the pages of this one single cryptic manuscript. The victim here, well, it's meaning itself. And the evidence, well, it's bizarre, it's beautiful, and it's completely and utterly baffling.
Okay, first things first. Let's get the basic facts of our mystery straight. What exactly is the Voynich Manuscript, and what can we say we know for sure about this incredibly strange object?
So this isn't just some old diary, it's a codex, an ancient manuscript book that is a total enigma. It's written from left to right, and the script flows beautifully. It looks just like a real language, but it's a language that nobody, and I mean nobody, has ever been able to identify, let alone translate.
Now here's something we do know for sure. When it was made. We've done radiocarbon dating on the vellum, that's the calfskin pages it's written on, and it tells us it was created sometime between 1404 and 1438. This puts it smack dab in the middle of the Italian Renaissance, which proves it's not some ancient text from antiquity, but it's definitely not a modern fake either.
We're talking about roughly 240 pages that have survived to this day, though it was probably a bit longer originally. And these pages are just filled with the most bizarre illustrations you can imagine, alongside about 38,000 words written in that completely indecipherable text.
You know, one of the most compelling clues is the physical state of the book. The pages are soft, they've clearly been handled a lot, and there's even some insect damage. This tells us it wasn't some priceless treasure locked away in a chest. No, this thing was used. It was someone's working manuscript, like a reference book or a field guide. But a guide to what? That's the million-dollar question.
So how in the world did this book make its way through 6 centuries to us? Well, its journey is a huge part of the mystery. We can actually trace it by following the chain of custody, its list of known owners.
I mean, think about the journey this book has been on. It starts with an alchemist in Prague. It gets passed to scholars. It was even rumored to belong to a Holy Roman emperor. And then it just vanishes for over 200 years. It's just sitting in a college library until 1912, when a bookseller named Wilfred Voynich, the guy it's named after, stumbles upon it. And get this isn't a new mystery. People were stumped by this thing hundreds of years ago. In a letter that came with the book back in 1665, the owner was practically begging the era's most famous codebreaker, a guy named Athanasius Kircher, to solve it. He said he thought Kircher was the only man in the world who could. Spoiler alert, Kircher couldn't crack it either. All right, so if the words are a total dead end, for now at least, what's our next move? We look at the pictures, right? And there are hundreds of them, and they are our best clues as to what this book is even about. The whole book seems to be broken down into 6 main parts. You've got this herbal section, but the plants are, well, they're like frankenplants. The root of one species, the leaves of another, a flower from something else entirely. Then there's this wild section with women bathing in pools of green liquid, all connected by these impossible-looking pipes. Absolutely nothing in this book has a clear one-to-one match in the real world.
And this, right here, brings us to the absolute heart of the puzzle. The text itself. The alphabet has, 20 to 25 unique characters? And they just flow from the author's pen so smoothly. It really looks like they were writing in a language they knew inside and out. It doesn't look like someone carefully encoding a message. It just looks like writing.
So for over a century, you've had the best of the best take a crack at this thing. World War II codebreakers, modern linguists, even powerful AIs, and they've all come up empty. So, what are the leading theories about who wrote it and, what on earth it says?
People have pointed the finger at all sorts of famous figures. Roger Bacon was a favorite for a while, but the dates are just all wrong. He lived 200 years too early. John Dee, another great candidate, but he kept detailed diaries and never once mentioned it. People even accused Voynich of faking it himself, but again, the 15th century date on the parchment makes that impossible. What seems most likely now is that it wasn't just one person, but maybe a group of at least 5 different scribes working on it.
At this point, the whole investigation has really split into 2 main camps. On one side, you have the cipher camp. They think the text is a known language, like maybe Latin, but it's hidden behind an incredibly complex, unbreakable code. On the other side is the natural language camp. They believe it's exactly what it looks like.
a real but now totally lost language written in its own unique alphabet.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Modern computers, when they analyze the text, they actually lean towards the natural language idea. The text is just too structured, too patterned to be random gibberish. It has something called word entropy, which is a fancy way of saying it has a rhythm and complexity that's very similar to known languages like English or Latin. That's a huge clue that we're looking at a real language, not just a simple code.
You know, it seems like every couple of years, someone pops up online and says, "I've got it! I've solved the Voynich Manuscript!" They claim it's some lost dialect of Hebrew or Turkish or an old Romance language. And yet, not a single one of these so-called solutions has ever held up to scrutiny. Not one has been verified or accepted by the wider academic world. The case remains stubbornly and frustratingly wide open.
So, after all this, where does that leave us? We are stuck with the same massive question that's been haunting researchers for generations. Is this book a priceless key to lost knowledge, maybe some kind of forgotten medical or botanical text? Or is it just the most elaborate, most beautiful, and most successful hoax in the history of the world? The answer is still locked away, just waiting for that one person who can finally find the right key.